I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. This time out, a vintage-inspired amplifier from Supro. Let's get started. Today we're checking out a new amplifier from Supro, and this is just being released at GearFest as we speak. It's a brand new model, but it's based on a model that was released in the late 50s under the Oahu and the Valco Supro brands. One guitar player who favored this amplifier is Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. And as we go through the tones and check out the features, you'll understand why. It's definitely a vintage-sounding, raw, in-your-face blaster kind of an amplifier. The 1600 Supreme is a 25-watt amplifier. It's based around 6V6 power tubes in a Class A configuration. It has two input channels, and those run in parallel, so they're summed into the output power. We have two input jacks. One is labeled in 1 and 2, and that allows you to basically run both channels in parallel, and it gives you increased gain when you turn up both the volume knobs. The second one is labeled input 2 and just accesses the second channel. Now you could use an A-B switch to access both those channels, set up channel 1 for a cleaner sound and channel 2 for a dirtier sound. The controls are super simple. We have a volume control for each input and we have a master tone control. This amp is about as set it, forget it, and start playing as you can get. Let's check out what it sounds like. Today I'm playing a Paul Reed Smith Custom 24 guitar, and we're plugged straight into the amplifier. Now this is a 1x10 amplifier. It features a custom Supro BD10 speaker. Let's set the amp up so we're just listening to input 1. The two channels sound exactly the same. You can blend them, but we'll listen to just channel 1. And we're going to set it up at about 9 o'clock, or just barely up on the volume knob. At this setting, we'll get a nice clean tone that has a lot of nice girth, yet it's chiming on the top end and has a lot of presence. The amp really rings, and it's surprisingly loud and full sounding for a 10-inch speaker and a 25-watt design. What you heard there is the humbucking pickups in this guitar. These are 8515s. They're moderate output humbuckers, and at 9 o'clock on the dial, we're getting a nice clean sound with those. Now we'll turn up to 12 o'clock on channel 1. At this setting with the humbucking pickups, we're getting a little bit of a crunch out of the amp at this point, yet it still cleans up when we lighten up our touch or we turn the volume knob down a little bit. Now we'll go to 3 o'clock. That's a big, fat, crunchy tone, great for rhythm, yet it still has a clarity to it. You can hear all the notes in the chords as you're playing, and you can really hear the pick attack coming across. Now we'll dime the volume control. That's a fat, rich sound. We're really hearing the power tubes working at this point. It's a loud amplifier, yet it's manageable even at a lower volume gig. For reference, I'll set channel 1 back to 12 o'clock, and then I'll bring channel 2 up to 12 o'clock. You can hear we're getting the clarity of the two channels still at about half volume, so they're not pushing real hard and the channels themselves aren't really going that much into crunch. But when we sum the two of them together and send them into the power amp, now the power tubes are starting to break up. The combination of those two things is a really rich, thick tone that has a lot of articulation and a lot of presence. One of the things I love about this amplifier is no matter how you set it up, it's super touch sensitive. It really responds to your picking hand, really responds to where you have the volume knob on your guitar. To show you what the amp sounds like when it's cranked all the way up, I'll turn both channels to 10. definitely not in high gain territory there, but we've got a lot of great drive, a lot of great crunch. This amp sounds fantastic when you turn it up. And as I mentioned before, no matter where you set the volume controls, it's incredibly touch sensitive and very responsive to the volume control on your guitar. As you can probably tell, I'm really excited about this amplifier. The 1600 Supreme sounds fantastic. It's so touch sensitive. It's a compact little amplifier, very lightweight, yet it puts out a surprising amount of volume with tight bottom end from that 10-inch speaker. But if you do need a bit more output, you could also combine it with the matching 12-inch extension speaker cabinet. I hope you've enjoyed this installment of Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more guitars, more amps, more effects, and we'll be making lots of music. I'm Mitch Gallagher.